Good evening, everybody. We are
doing?
here tonight. We've got Dwayne, the newly elected president of the United Gamefowl Breeders Association. And we got speaker extraordinaire Jeff in here.
my hero.
And so tonight we're going to talk about the United Gamefowl Breeders Association annual convention that was this past week in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, hosted by the South Carolina Game Breeders Association. And we've got some pictures and we're going to talk about all the stuff. Dwayne's going to tell us what's going on in the world of gamefowl, and he's going to tell us his vision and what he's going to try to do everything he can to put in place for the 2025-2026 year and go forth and conquer. Does that sound about right?
Yeah, sounds right.
All right. So tell us about planning the convention. How did all that go about? You know, you don't just wake up one day and say, hey, let's do a convention at this place.
No, man, we went through we jumped a lot of hurdles. There was a lot to factor in, hurricanes, we're all on the coast and weather and transportation for everybody. That was a big factor. Also accessibility to my place. I didn't want to go to Columbia, which was 2 hours and 25 minutes for me, when I could do it in Myrtle Beach, which was 30 minutes for me. So we had it took a lot of planning. We had to check a lot of locations. There was a lot of locations. We had to pick out the one that worked best, most suitable, give you the best price. It's all about cost, because ultimately at the end of the day, you're there to make money. And for the organization. And then getting people to donate for the auction, going from store to store, here and there and everywhere, getting donations for the raffle table. Man, we had a banging raffle table.
Look, I remember the day I called you and I was like, hey, what are you doing? And you said, I'm driving somewhere in North Carolina. And I was like, hey, let's go to North Carolina today. And then you started telling me about all the stuff that feed store had put in. And
Tony Manning, awesome. Tony Manning is amazing. I mean, he's suffering from some pretty bad cancer, not doing well at all. And he had told me in the beginning, when we were coming to South Carolina to the convention, that he would help me put together some stuff for some raffle tables. And I had talked with him 2 weeks ago, and he was going to meet me that Tuesday before the convention to bring some stuff where his health didn't allow that. So I drove and got it. And, they gave us, plenty of stuff, 2 hours and 20 minutes each way, made the drive and get it, but it was well worth it. And, it's a labor of love. I mean, everybody criticizes the organization for not doing one thing or another, but no one gets paid. I mean, we're all volunteers, and it comes down to where if you think you can do a better job,
show up for a meeting.
Show up for a meeting, runs for office, and try to make a change. Everybody has great ideas sitting on the couch. But there's no, you're not the person out here answering the phone. You're not the person receiving all the criticism and everything else. And a lot of people truly don't understand what the UGBA is even about. I saw a comment today. Monique Parker was one of our speakers, and she's from McGuinness, and she had posted a picture, and someone made a comment about, what's the UGBA done to reduce the felony charge for cockfighting? Well, there's nothing in the name of our organization that relates to anything about cockfighting or associates us with that. And we have a mission statement, and and I'm going to read it. I sent it to you, Kerry. I don't know if you can put it up on the screen or not. But yeah, that bottom picture. It said the purpose of this association is to bind breeders and fanciers of gamefowl into an organization for their mutual benefit and for the exchange of better methods and ideas tending towards preparation and improvement of various breeds of gamefowl, and also improving marketing methods, and to cooperate with the university, state, and federal, and any other public or private agency which seeks to help control poultry disease. There's nothing in that says it's going to tie us to. Listen, you get caught drunk driving, you're going to jail. You get caught breaking into someone's house, you're going to jail. You get caught doing something illegal, fighting animals, you're going to jail.
Yep.
That's simply not what our organization is for. And all I can do is give you an honest opinion, my opinion. I'm not speaking on behalf of the organization. I'm speaking on behalf of Dwayne. And, you know, if you think for 1 minute that showing roosters in the state of South in the United States will ever be legal again, you're delusional. Because for every rooster man out there that wants that, there's 4,000 tree-hugging yuppies that would rather, they would drive past a starving child on the side of the road to rescue a squirrel that's fallen out of a tree.
Yeah. Sadly.
You know, and the world has become confused about, you know, I grew up on a farm. We castrated horses at home. We castrated pigs at home. We killed chickens, all that kind of jazz. And in South Carolina, man, you go to jail now for castrating a horse at home. It's just ridiculous.
Are you serious?
Yeah. If you castrate, I mean, you can go to jail in South Carolina. Now, you can still castrate pigs at home. But if you castrate a horse at home or a mule, you can ban bulls and bull calves. But if you castrate a horse like we used to hobble their feet and throw them on the ground, you know, split the sack open, pull the nuts out, spray some blue screwworm medicine in there, end up in the hole, and cut them loose. They never look back. And that's how we done it when I was a boy. But you go to prison now, you go to jail. They'll take you. It's one of those like a little Monopoly square. Go straight to jail. You mess with a horse now.
That's one way to put it. But I mean, you're right. It's like they pick and choose. What do they want to do today?
And you know, we need to become more united. We need to be, you know, I have been to several conventions over the years, been to a lot of other states, GBA meetings and stuff. And I'm not just saying it because we were in South Carolina this year, but I mean, it was great. We had no confusion. There was no bickering. There was no fussing. You know, even Keith Higgins, he was running for president as well. And Keith is a great friend of mine. And, you know, even after the election, when I won, I went up to him and I said, even before the election, I said, no matter what the outcome of this is, I hope it does not change our friendship. I said, because I appreciate you as a friend. And, you know, and we talked. And after it was over, he came up and shook my hand, told me congratulations and all. And I told him, I said, listen, Keith, you're older than me. You got more experience than me. And just because I won, don't mean that I'm not man enough to call you and ask you for advice. Because we need to stick together. We need to come together, and we need to quit bickering. And you know, there's all these pop-up organizations out there. UGBA has been an organization for 50 years. There used to be a lot of other states involved, and for one reason or another, one grumble, one gripe. You know how it is.
Yeah, people like to get in their feelings over stuff, and then they decide they don't want to be a part of it. They just want to whine, and then you know, it's like they don't want to do anything to fix any of the issues. As my wife would say, they're just going to take their ball and go home.
Well, I mean, that's just like with the Rápido. I mean, y'all, it's a great product. I've been using it since it came out. And I truly believe in it. I push it towards other people, tell them, give them I'll be number one testimonial. But most of the people who complain and say that it's no good probably never bought a bag. They have no idea. People have an opinion about something they know nothing about. And, you know, when it comes to legislation and that sort of stuff, and you use an organization such as this, a nonprofit organization, there's a lot of information that we just can't release to the general public because it'll come back and bite us in the butt. You know, sometimes when you make a plan, you make that plan, and if you know, when you know, any good battle, once you've created a plan, you don't fax over a copy of your plan to the enemy before you attack, weeks before. Right. And you know, you've got to be on the deal about some things. And we take a lot of punishment. People talk crap about us, other entities, other organizations, take every opportunity they can to trash the UGBA. But you know, a lot of those organizations have popped up, made a lot of traction, made a lot of noise of where they're at now. You know,
it's true.
Where they are. You know, you got to stick with something that's worked for a long time. And I would love to see Alabama come back and get back involved. I'd love to see Georgia back involved, Florida, and a lot of these states that are, and you know, the UGBA had a rough patch. We had some staffing issues, and it caused a lot of problems. It caused a lot of trouble, and we've had that on several occasions where we've had made some poor choices in staffing. Those choices came back and bit us, cost us money, and cost us affiliated states as well because of it. But you know, they say the stronger survive, and the tough will tough it out when the rest of them goes. So maybe some of those areas weren't as game as they thought they were.
That makes sense.
Hopefully with new leadership in those areas and more cooperation and stuff with the new leaders we have now. Gerald, we got a new vice president also, and he and I have a great relationship. We're good friends, and we can work well together, I think, and hopefully with participation from members, and as our motto says, you know, breeders and fanciers of Gamefowl, we can come together and make a difference. That's what my hope is, anyway.
I mean, it sounds really good to me. I like it.
Well, Jeff, you know, you don't eat that cheeseburger, the whole thing in your mouth at one time. You gotta take the first bite.
So you guys were in that closed door meeting on Friday. Did you get any strategic planning done? You got a path? You got something outlined on what you're, without going into details?
Well, a lot of time, if that meeting varies from year to year. If the president that's in place on that Friday meeting, if he plans to stay on and be president again, you have one form of meeting. And then if the president is planning on leaving, like in this scenario, Carl he'd been in place for 2 years, and he was ready to step down, and it was a lot of discussion about, you know, this is where I'm leaving it, you know, kind of where you want to go with it. And, you know, honestly, I just feel like we're in a more modern time, and all these animal rights organizations, they're using social media, they're using television, they're using all these outlets to attack us on every front. You know, it don't make no difference. It makes absolutely no difference if you own 12 chickens in your yard. If they came to Carrie's house today and raided him, and he's got 25 roosters, 25 chickens, They started 25 chickens and 6 of them roosters. When the news headline hits, it's going to be potential cockfighting range, disrupted in Bessemer, Alabama. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, one of my game fowls, they got into it with one of my Rhode Island Reds, so that's a potential.
Yeah, and we need to just one of our biggest downfalls right now is ourself in social media. People post stuff on social media they shouldn't. People say things and do things on social media they shouldn't, and they don't realize that what they're doing is not just hurting themselves. It's damaging the whole organization countrywide. Because every time you post something stupid, you're just giving ammunition.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it never goes away.
It never does.
And there's really computer intelligent people out there that can go dig that up 10 years from now, and find a comment. So yeah, I mean, until you can find a truly private forum, where people can't track it and don't see that stuff behind closed doors, you just can't. You got to be really guarded about what you talk about.
And it all comes down to the dollar amount, and it costs to go to Washington and go to bat against legislation. It costs a lot of money. It costs money. And, we have fundraisers that we had the convention, which really don't make much money by the time you factor in the cost of the meeting halls and the banquet halls and the food and putting out everything for everybody, and then the money's divided between the RLA, the state that hosted the convention, and then the UGBA gets his piece. So there's not a lot of money in the convention, and the UGBA only has that one fundraiser a year, and I would like to see some of that change too. But the biggest problem with those fundraiser auctions that I see is you have like some organizations, they'll have 10 auctions a year. And people donate to them auctions 10 times a year. And I've seen them do less than we have. But they still got the support because they'll stand on the front porch out there and flap their arms and say, I'm going to legalize rooster fighting. No, you ain't.
They don't even have anybody in Washington trying to do anything.
They don't. And, we have a lobbyist, and she's there working hard. And, and see, we need to be united, not just on the gamefowl front, but it's not just the gamefowl people under attack. The rodeo people's under attack. The dog hunters are under attack. The gamefowl people's under attack. Anything to do with animals. And, I'm yet to figure out how, YouTube, if you shoot a YouTube video and you shoot a deer on that YouTube video, you've got two options. You've got to turn it black and white so that the blood doesn't show red, or they demonetize your video. That's your only option. So, and if you show the blood enough, they'll block your whole thing and take your whole page down. But, we need to become more united. We need to get involved with the 4-H. We need to get involved with these, dog hunting organizations, people who run rabbit dogs, people who run deer dogs, people who have coon dogs. Those hunters are under attack too, especially the rodeo. The rodeo, honestly, if you would look at some of the guidelines they want to set for rodeos, you would basically go to the rodeo, watch them ride horses in a ring, or actually watch them walk horses in the ring, because they don't even want riders on the horse's back. They want, no more barrel racing, no more bull riding, no more spurs, no more riding crops, no more saddles, no more bits. It's just on and on and on. That horse has got more right than the person on his back. So And I ain't never known a horse pay taxes. So I don't know what they're thinking. But you know, we just need to reach out to these people. I've already talked to one guy. He's part of the Houndsman Association, and going to see if we can't work together because they have a lobbyist as well, and two's better than one. You know what I mean?
That's right.
But we want to see what we can do.
Well, you would think the rodeo people have more than one. I mean, that's big industry. You know,
well, the rodeo people, but you know, Jeff, the problem is the mentality of people is, well, when the rodeo is under attack, that means they're leaving us alone. So let's just don't say anything. Don't try to help them, because as long as they're being harassed, they're not bothering us. But there again, where's the unity in that? There's strength in numbers. And when you go before, as an organization, when you go up to the state house, talk to senators and congressmen, they basically take your vote. You get one vote, but they think, well, their thought is, well, he gets one vote, but he could probably influence 4 other people to vote his way. So we're going to count his vote as 5. Well, when you go there and you got 1,000 members, that's 5,000 votes. When animal rights organization comes there and they got 10,000 members nationwide, you know, even a simpleton can do that math. It ain't hard to figure out. And then you got these videos. They run on TV at 3 o'clock in the morning. Got a little puppy shivering in a mud hole. He's shivering. That puppy's been dead for a year. I've seen that video for the last 4 years. That same puppy in the mud hole shivering. He's been dead for years. And what Grandma don't realize is she sends half her Social Security every month to try to save that little puppy. He's been dead a long time. And she's sitting there eating potted meat and saltine crackers because she can't afford to buy a pork chop because she still automated that puppy.
Yeah, they make really good commercials. They
really do.
They do.
So you sent some pictures earlier, and I put them together in a little PowerPoint here. You want to go through those real quick?
Sure.
All right, right here. This is the previous president swearing y'all in, correct?
That's right. That's Carl Hendershot. He's out of West Virginia. Then you got Eddie Hartramp out of Oregon, and Gerald Allen Jr. out of North Carolina, and myself. And then that munchkin on the end down there is our new secretary.
Let's see. There was some vendors that was there. We had ShowPro was there with our stuff.
Yep. And then we had Kyle Newton was there from Deep South or down south outdoors. He's got he's trying to corner market. He sells tree stands. He sells chicken feed. He sells medications. He sells bait and tackle. He has archery tournaments and archery shop in his shop.
I was gonna say, he was telling me about restringing bows too. They do that.
Yeah, he does. He does it all there. And we have a poultry show there at least once a year. His place. It's a nice place. Then we had C&J Supply. They're out of Rhonda, North Carolina. They sell feed, shipping boxes, and that sort of stuff. They were there as well. And then Dennis Walker was there with water cups and feed cups and trying to think.
Dennis makes those feed cups in Tennessee.
Yeah, he does.
And I gotta say, I got the first set I got from him. I got a box of half gallon and a box of quart about a year and a half ago. I ain't went through the whole box yet.
Well, I got cups.
I haven't had any break.
I got cups from Dennis out there, half gallon cups hanging on pins. It's been there for over 5 years, and they're still there. You know, you can buy cups from wherever. But if you buy a half a gallon cup and you flip that cup over on the bottom, and it don't have Dennis's phone number on the bottom of it, it ain't one of his cups.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah. Now, like on the quart cup stuff, I don't think they have this number on it. I know the half gallon cups has its number on the bottom.
Yep.
And, Belle Farm had some stuff there as well. They donated some stuff to our raffle tables.
I'm gonna say this is one of the raffle tables right here.
Yeah, there's bags of feed. There's spur blocks on there. There's gift cards. FB McGuinness donated two $50 gift cards, $100 gift card, and a $200 gift card we gave away. Belle Farm had several $50 gift cards on there. The Tennessee GBA is not even an affiliated GBA of the UGBA, but they donated. They actually bought a $50 gift card.
I'll say they donated like three or four different $50 gift cards.
Yeah, they done three. They got a $50 gift card from you, one from Kyle, and one from Belle Farm.
Yeah,
and they bought the gift cards and brought them and donated them to the auction. So, Tennessee's president is a great friend of mine too, and he's very supportive of the UGBA. He comes to all the conventions. He's very supportive of the UGBA. It's just he has trouble getting his members to want to join. And I know, unaffiliated states, they pay $20 a year, $25 a year membership, and that's it. But when you join the UGBA, you have to add an extra $20 to it, so it makes it a $40 membership. But $40, you can't even take it. If you and your wife and one of your kids goes out to eat and get anything other than a McDeath burger, you're gonna pay $40.
Yeah. Depending on where you are, you might pay just about that for breakfast.
Oh yeah.
These right here, these pictures, man, there's some beautiful artwork that people were donating.
Well, one of our members, she has friends in Mexico, and they painted all those portraits in Mexico. All those pictures are painted in Mexico, and she purchased them and brought them to the auction and set them up. And she sold raffle tickets on her own, and she raffled all those pictures off. A good many of them off, not all of them, but a good many of them she raffled off. And she took her money that she had invested in it and then gave us the rest. Try to help us with some money, fundraiser money, So
yeah,
we have some really good members in South Carolina. We have some good members. We have some good board directors, folks. They work their butt off, Saturday, Friday, and Saturday, get things set up, moving tables, building balloon arches, carrying stuff in for people, carrying bags to feed the cars for people. We're fortunate to have some really good people involved.
This right here, this picture that you sent me, that just looked like some serious, intense working going on there, some strategizing.
Yeah. I don't know what Tamara was thinking over there. She was fixing to tell us something I really believe. And Heather was just, I think Heather was, Monique had Heather charmed her for a second, I believe.
Yep.
Yeah, the convention center we used, it had a full function restaurant in it with a little robot waiter who brought you food to the table. They had a mezzanine bar, and then they had a Starbucks coffee inside the motel. And then they also had an ice cream parlor downstairs that sold hand dipped chocolates and that sort of stuff, and homemade ice cream, not store bought.
Look, I'm gonna tell you something. That ice cream shop, I went by there one day, and I just heard from inside by name, like, Gary, come see how high you can raise your sugar.
Yeah.
And I went in there and I was like, I just looked at all the options and I got one, and they were proud of it, but boy, I'm gonna tell you, it was worth it. I enjoyed it.
I think it was $6.99 for a single scoop of homemade ice cream. It wasn't store-bought ice cream. They make it right there. So hey, now I went in there. I walked in the door 3 different times. I walked in, looked at the selection, and told myself this is not where I needed to be. So
Yeah.
I never bought anything. I walked in 3 times and looked and was tempted 3 times, but I was strong enough to walk away 3 times.
I mean, it is what it is, you know.
I didn't even go in and look. So I knew I couldn't walk out of there empty handed. So I didn't go in and look.
You know, I really didn't. I really didn't think about how much I had ate over the weekend while I was there. And I took time today to think about it. And I was there Thursday afternoon, Friday night, Saturday night, and came home Sunday. And I probably eat as much that whole weekend as I normally would on a single day. I don't know. My nerves, I was nervous, trying my best to make sure everyone was happy. I wanted to make it a great convention. I wanted everyone to be happy with it. I wanted everybody to be, satisfied with what they had. I was just so concerned. It was a lot of work.
Well, y'all made it look pretty easy. And the only downside I can say is you set the bar up a level or two for next year.
Yeah.
So we'll have to make sure that works out. Clark said his lactose intolerance kept him out of the ice cream shop. I don't know, Clark. I mean, I'm not lactose intolerant, thank God. But as good as it was, I'd have seriously thought about it because it's pretty good.
Well, Clark had his wife there with him, so he was probably afraid of his lactose intolerance because he had to get a second room.
Yeah, he could have gotten in trouble for it.
Yeah, pull the cover over her head.
Yeah, he said he did.
I wish more guys would have showed up because you only had 3 presentations from outside speakers, so to speak. Other than GBA's reporting for their state, but you know what? Courtney did a great job. Everybody. I thought all 3 speakers did a good job. I really enjoyed that opportunity to get up and talk in front of the crowd. So.
Well, I told you, Jeff, I was voted in high school most likely to not become a public speaker.
Yeah.
And
me too. But
I can remember the first time I had to speak in public. I was at church, one of the brotherhood. We were at a brotherhood meeting at a church where I grew up, and they asked me to come and speak for that brotherhood meeting. And I can remember standing up there, and I could literally feel the sweat running from under my armpits and running down the side of my ribcage, down to my belt, and I could just feel it. And it was the pressure, because you have, and it's the same thing with the GBA because you got guys there. Just had birds longer than I've been alive. Multi-generational rooster men and women that have been there and been through it and seen it and done it. And, and you're sitting there trying to give a presentation or trying to talk to them guys. And, you ain't wanting them to say, well, this is a dumbass here. So you want to be able to think about what you say before you say it.
I don't know. I didn't think about what I said. I just said it. So.
But you're expert already there.
Half the people in the crowd were either laughing or smiling, and the other half were looking away in shame because they knew they weren't doing it right. So it was funny looking at the facial expressions when I was up there giving my presentation. So, but it was good. I enjoyed it. Right, and there was some pretty good roostermen in that room. I'll tell you what, there was some knowledge in that room. So. I don't know how you get more people to show up, but I enjoyed it. I met some great people, for sure. So,
well, Jeff, the thing about the rooster people are, I'll give you a scenario. We have every October we have a meet and greet for South Carolina, and the same lady who donated those pictures, her and her husband, they raise pigs, and they'll kill a pig. They'll cook it. They'll bring it. We'll have a pig picking. You could overdose on food at this thing. You know what I mean? All kind of cakes, desserts. full spread. If we have a poultry show and serve hot dogs, we'll have 125 people show up. If you can cook a full spread, pig picking the whole 9 yards, and don't have a poultry show, and you'll have 12 people show up.
Yep.
Makes no sense. And
Well,
they don't realize most folks who do not attend GBA meetings in their state, they don't understand. The marketing and fellowship, and it's not the same doing it on Facebook on a chat group than it is getting there and be able to shake that man's hand, show him respect. You know, I got a lot of Hispanic friends, and my granddaddy always told me, when you shake a man's hand, bite in there deep, grab a hold to him, and let him know that you got confidence. But I got some Hispanic friends, and I swear, when you shake their hands, like you got a wet dish rag in your hand. They ain't got no grip to it. It's just but
they weren't raised the same, but it's all right. You know, it's just cultural difference. So
it is, and but you know, all those guys, they just need to, you know, everybody came together. Like I said, everyone was talking to everybody. There was people there who had plenty of money, and there was people there that probably borrowed money to get there. And they were all talking, they were all conversating. I think from what I could understand, we had folks from South Carolina, North Carolina, Virginia, West Virginia, Pennsylvania, Alabama, Louisiana, Tennessee, Oregon, Missouri. I know for sure those states were represented, and so you know there was folks there from all those states, and there's some folks, man, they just ain't gonna participate. They're not gonna participate. The ones who don't participate will be the first ones to call you and complain when there's a problem. Simple as that.
So, all right, look. In order to help you promote it for next year, you've got to lock down a location and a venue. And the sooner you do it, the better price you can get on a venue, you know, a place to have it. But look hard to a place where you can actually bring roosters in there, bring birds in. I mean, most convention centers aren't going to let you do that. So,
well, the biggest thing is we have it in August every year to try to get ahead of school starting. And, there's no law that says we have to have it in August. It's just always, you know, that's when we've had it. And, you know, we do a live auction or a Facebook auction, but most states won't allow us to bring birds. And then you got in that August time frame, you got so many people got birds or covered it. They, you know, you got no feathers, and most birds are ugly. And you know, you show up at a place like that with a bunch of birds, half the feathers gone out, you'll be on the 9 o'clock news.
Yeah. You might be better off sometime in like third week of June if you want birds there that still have feathers on them, right? But a lot of the guys that I've talked to, several that said, you know, how many birds were there? Well, none were there, right? And you know, that was a big letdown for them. So if you could find a place, you know, where some of the bigger name breeders can bring some birds and actually have a live auction, kind of like they do up in North Carolina.
Right.
I mean, it might, but seriously, are you California or Missouri next year, or where are you thinking? Where are you going?
Well, what we do, we go West Coast, East Coast, Central America, you know, central part of the state. So it'll be somewhere in the central part of the state next year. We were in Nevada last year. You know, we went from Kentucky to Missouri to Nevada back to South Carolina. So we move it across the country every year. So it'll be somewhere Missouri and Mississippi, somewhere in that area next year.
Why wouldn't you go to Oklahoma? I think you could probably find a venue easier in Oklahoma that would let you bring birds if you wanted to go that route.
Yeah. Well, the Oklahoma GBA is not, the Oklahoma Gamefowl Commission is not affiliated, and we, you know, the state that has the convention, you bring in revenue to your state as well as your GBA, and if you have it in an unaffiliated state or non-affiliated state, you know, you bring in revenue and commerce to a state that don't care enough to be a part of your organization. So that's kind of what we try to stick to affiliated states.
All right. Well, please pick soon so I can get it on my calendar.
Well, usually we have a lot of times on the Friday meeting, we'll choose a location on that Friday meeting, but we had one of our affiliated states were not, two of our affiliated states were not represented at the convention. So we've got to get back and talk with them some more, and you know, we'll offer it to a couple of locations, and you know, try to determine us. That guy say something about Florida.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's saying that they need more breeders in Florida. This is getting harder and harder to find a real American gamefowl in Florida.
You know, I've talked with got crickets.
Sorry.
I've talked with a couple of guys in Florida. They had contacted me about trying to start a GBA in Florida again, and I've sent them some information, and we'll conversate back and forth a few times, and you know, I'll give them the information they need to kind of get it started, and kind of give them some direction on how they ought to go about getting it started. And you know, you got to have a set of bylaws. That's first and foremost. Then you got to have a set of elected officials: president, vice president, secretary, treasurer. You got to have bylaws, and you got to have those 4 positions and a few board members before you can even go to the state to get your nonprofit organization status. You got to have that up front, and it seems like the 2 guys I talked to, when they tried to put together a group of guys that would you know, all get along and come together to try to start something, it don't take long to fall apart. It's unfortunate, but it happened. I know Virginia don't have a GBA at all. I don't think Florida has one. You know, our affiliated state in Oregon, he's been working his butt off over in Oregon, and he's been having poultry shows in Oregon, Idaho, Washington State, and you know, there's been some. He's trying to get them to start their own organization, not just be a part of Oregon, and just simply because, you know, the more affiliated states you have involved, the more clout you'll have when you go to the state house and that sort of thing. And it's all about, it's a numbers game. It's all about numbers.
That makes sense.
But you know, like I said, it made me feel good when I had some of the older guys who have been in this for a really long time, been part of the UGBA for a lot of years. They come up and told me, you know, they enjoyed their convention. Probably the best convention they've been to in several years. So kind of makes you feel like all that work was worth it.
So there's a GBA in California, right? What's
There he is. There
Okay.
he is. It's not called the California GBA. It's called the CPG or something. I think it's CPG. They're an affiliate of the UGBA, and
CAAPG.
yeah, I know it's something like that. They don't just, like we just do SCGBA. Kentucky does, you know, Kentucky GBA. Missouri does that too, Missouri GBA. But California, you know, they do a little something different out there. But they have a GBA, and whoever that person was, they can contact me and I'll get in touch with them.
They can go to UGBA.net.
Yeah, they sure can.
Search, and they can even sign up and join.
Yeah, you can join California on our UGBA website if you're a member. And I have members in South Carolina. We have folks in South Carolina who call us and they join the SCGBA, and they're from everywhere. We have members from Florida, we have members from Kentucky, Texas, and Oklahoma. But South Carolina has a good relationship with our vet. And like in North Carolina, if you go to one of their poultry shows, you can go to the poultry show and you can attend. You can watch the birds be shown and you can talk to people. But in order to take birds to that show, you got to take them to your state vet or to your local vet, and you get an MPIP test done, get a avian influenza test done, and you got to within 20 days of the poultry show. And so if they have 6 poultry shows a year and they're more than 20 days apart, you got to go 6 times a year and pay a vet to have the bird tested because it's only good for 20 days.
Yeah, that's messed up.
But South Carolina, we got it pretty good here. You can bring birds from Alabama, and Jeff can bring one from Pennsylvania, and we can just all they require of us is to fill out our state form and then test the birds once they get here. They have a livestock sale in North Carolina that's just across state line from my house. And the rules in some states are ridiculous. Like I can take a pig from South Carolina to North Carolina and sell it at an auction. But if it don't bring the money I want, and I know sell it at the auction, I'm not allowed to bring it back.
Well, all right then.
Yeah.
And if I go there and find a pig I like and buy it, I can't bring it back legally. I mean, yes, it happens all the time, but legally.
Right. According to state statutes, you can't do that.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
So, look, I want to delve into this just a little bit deeper because, like, you guys have 8 poultry shows in South Carolina. I know North Carolina is having 6 or 8 up there, right?
Yes, right.
And guys, like I Gamefowl guys will contact me and they're like, oh, that's a waste of time. Why are they doing that? Blah, blah, blah. It's not the kind of show I want to go to. Right. But what they can't put these pieces together in their head. Right. If we start actively showing Gamefowl, and I think it's Randy Dewhurst is actually pushing to do Gamefowl at the Ohio Nationals, right, and have a special classification up there in Ohio. Okay, by doing this, you keep your ribbons like you got behind you, your certificate that you went and showed. And I'm just saying what Melinda was saying right there, and from RLA. Okay.
Yeah.
This is documentation that your birds aren't for fighting purposes.
That's right.
You're showing them that they have another purpose. You're breeding them to preserve the breed, whether you think it's a waste of time or not. Well, the other thing is you go to one of your shows, you go to, one in North Carolina, you go to Ohio Nationals, whatever, you're still going to get to talk to other gamefowl owners, right? You're going to get to see what other birds look like from other places. I'm sure you can probably hold them if you want to hold them, right? You can have conversation in the corner with that person, so some people just can't think past the end of their nose. And honestly, it sometimes pisses me off that they can't see the bigger picture. But you know what? I've realized many years now, not everybody can see the bigger picture. But, these shows, showing your bird for how good it looks, so to speak, conformation, type, defects, whatever, has a bigger purpose than just, and people need to get their head around that and, pull their head out of their back end, because you keep fighting the fight that you're going to be able to fight chickens legally, and that ain't ever going to happen, right? It's gone, it's gone.
Well, and like with us, I mean, you can reach out to Carrie. Carrie, I don't know if y'all guys know her or not, but Carrie is the admin assistant for the UGBA, and he controls the website, runs the website, and all that jazz. And there we have a breed standard book on there, and that breed standard book, it tells you that American gamefowl must be dubbed in order to be shown. It says American gamefowl must have their spurs trimmed in order to be shown. It says American gamefowl have to be within a certain weight range. And we bring scales to our shows. So if you got a set of scales in your building, you got a breed standard book that says that bird's got to weigh between 4.2 and 6 pounds in order to be shown as an American gamefowl. If he's over 6 pounds, he gets points taken away. If he's under 4.2, he gets points taken away. And you have a written, published document that says that you need dubbing shears, you need a spur saw, you need a set of scales, you need resting stalls. I have resting stalls in my barn because I bring my birds in on Friday night before I take them to the poultry show. I wipe their legs down with witch hazel. I wipe their face and their neck, their head down with witch hazel. I check them for bugs. I check them, to make sure they got confirmation. I weigh them. I check them. I look them over, and I put them in those boxes on those clean shavings, and they stay in there that night and they rest and they're not stressed out. And I ain't got to go catch them out of a pen and grab them by the tail or grab them by the leg and the morning of, pulling their tail feathers out, breaking wing feathers coming out of cages. Everything we have is publicated in that book. ACELs, Oriental Gamefowl, it says in that book, they cannot be dubbed. If an Oriental Gamefowl is dubbed, he will have to be shown in the American class. And when it comes to breed standards and confirmation, you can take a Kelso rooster that is an American fowl and put him up against the ACEL rooster and judge him on the American guidelines, and that ACEL will lose every time, no matter how good he feels.
Yeah, because his tail placement and a lot of things on his body conformation are not right. So
yeah, you have a short keel.
Okay, so we've got some questions rolling in since I brought this subject up. Okay, so can you, like Bobby Locklear says, are Orientals and Spanish birds accepted at the show? So you just answered that. Yes, they are, but you need to read the standard on how they need to be shown, right?
Yep.
So they can't be dubbed, right?
We actually show American gamefowl, we show an Oriental gamefowl, and we have a kids class for Bantam.
All right.
So
Marco wants to know, how can a breeder prove his bloodline in the show? But I mean, you're judging them.
Our shows are not designed to prove gameness.
No,
our shows are designed to prove body conformation, muscle tone, athleticism, overall health.
Right.
That's what it's for.
Right. But you're judging a Kelso against a Hatch, against a Albany, whatever, right? So they're all getting judged as American gamefowl, regardless of their bloodline or strain, right? They're all getting judged against each other. So you don't have separate categories for Hatch, Kelso, sweaters, right? You're not.
Yeah, we actually do.
Do you?
We actually do.
Okay.
It's broken down. We got black breasted, red light leg and dark leg, gray light leg and dark leg. We have 13 categories. We got white birds are judged against white birds, black birds are judged against black birds, spangles are judged against spangles, muffs and top. The only group we lump together is muffs and toppies, and then all the Orientals go under one category. You Shamus, the ACO, the Japs, all that goes under one category. But you don't show a gray rooster against a red rooster. And if you show it a mated pair, even though you decided at home that you're going to breed your hatch bird to your low grade hen, don't mean we're going to let you show them as a mated pair to our class, because they're in a separate class. And we judge best overall cock in each class. We do first place, second place, and third place in each class for the cock and the hen. And in the mated pair category, if you have a tie, let's say you got a pair of gray roosters, a gray rooster and hen, and their score is 180, and you have a hatch pair, their score is 180. And what breaks the tie is the the score on the cock holds more weight than the score on the hen. Does that make sense to you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, as long as you're doing it the same everywhere you go.
It is. We have, like I said, all the UGBA has the same standard.
Okay.
Mhm. And
And
most of these other organizations that do poultry shows, some of the unaffiliated states do poultry shows. They're still using our standards, and they've taken our judging class, the UGBA judging class, and they're using our guidelines to judge, even though they're not an affiliated state. They're still using our guidelines to judge poultry shows. And it's just a great time. I mean, you go there and you get to see kids, and you get competition amongst yourselves, and it's a good, legitimate way to do something with your birds that you ain't gonna take you to jail.
now you recognize the Anthony Seville book guidelines, right? Is that the standards that you're using are the ones written by Tony Seville?
There's excerpts of Anthony Seville's guidelines. Bucky Hollis out of California actually done our book, but Bucky used a good portion of a lot of feedback from Anthony. Anthony's been a good rooster man for a lot of years. He's judged poker shows everywhere. He's got a lot of credibility, and he did the APG book, I think it is, and there's a lot of crossover. Like we judge back, breast, neck, wings, legs, feet. I think in Anthony Seville, he checks the head, breast, back, legs, and tail. His judging system's on a 5-point system, and ours is about an 8-point judging system.
So I just so happen to have a copy of the show standards right here, and what was used to reference is the American Poultry Association Standard of Perfection, Anthony Seville's American Gamefowl Standards, Bob Lamar's American Game Standards. Those are all kind of like compiled together.
That's right.
For the best of the best.
Yeah. Bucky just kind of put everything together, and he come up with this standard book of ours. I don't even know when. I mean, it's been around forever.
All right. So, Dwayne, either later tonight or tomorrow, like on the different group sites, or get it to me and Carrie so we can share it where people can get a copy of the American Gamefowl standards for the people that are curious tonight. Like, Marco has another question. If he has a blue-legged radio, beautiful lemon hackle, 4.5 pound, what category would he classify in?
Black breasted red dark leg. The black breasted red light leg would be a yellow-legged bird or a white-legged bird. If they have blue leg, slate leg, green leg, willow leg, they all go into the black breasted red dark leg class. No matter if he's a radio, he would still go. Radios typically come yellow leg. If he has one that comes blue leg, he won't be able to show him in the class against other radios because his leg is not consistent with the breed standard.
So he's going to be in the dark leg, whatever happens to be in the dark leg. Okay.
That's right.
And the judges scoring on those, they judge the back, the breast, the head, the legs, the condition, the carriage, the plumage, tail, neck, wing, and overall size for a total of 100 points.
That's right. And I had a hen, a law grade hen. It wasn't mine. It was one of our board of directors' birds, and that hen is perfect. I mean, she is beautiful. She's beautiful. I mean, there's no. I mean, her body conformation, her head, her eyes are bright and round. Her pupils are pretty and round. Everything was perfect about her. And when I went to judge her, when I opened her wing, because you can tell a lot about the health of a bird. You pull the wing out, and if they lagging and slow about pulling the wing back to their body, that wing should pop back. If you pull it out and turn it loose, it should pop back into place. But when I pulled the wing out and opened it up, check her flight feathers and her secondary and primary feathers, in the carrier box on the way there, she had broke a wing feather on each side. So those broken wing feathers got her some points deducted. She had 2 broken wing feathers and one on the right side and one on the left side. But you want to make, if you bring a bird there and it's got parasites or mites, it's going to get disqualified right away. And if you'll take that breed standard book we have, you study that breed standard book and read it, and Carrie has it for sale on our website. You take that book and you study it and you read it, whether it's an APG book or a APA book, you take one of those breed standard books and you focus on that book and you start going out picking birds up in your yard. I'll guarantee you within 6 months, your brood pen selection will change. And once your brood pen selection change, you'll see birds who are built better, the muscle tone is better, the overall health of the bird will be better, the size of the birds will be more where you want them. I mean, and you'll see a difference in every scenario by using one of these standard books to help in your brood pen. Now, if you buy a pair of Kelsos and you ain't got but one rooster and one hen, you ain't got much choice.
Yeah.
You don't on the first go round.
And another thing, Jeff, if you take that breed standard book and you study and focus on it, when it comes time the next year to cull stags, you'll say, man, this is a nice bird, but he's got some crook in his breastbone. Ain't no sense in me feeding him for 2 years. That means go ahead and get rid of him now. Or he's got a crooked toe, because you're not going to bring a crooked toed bird to the show. You're not going to bring one that's got a broke beak to the show. You're not going to bring one that's got a crooked breastbone to the show. You just ain't going to do it. I mean, and see, there's a guy at that show, and I'm sure you guys both met him. He's from Maryland, and he bred A-seals. And anybody that knows anything about A-seals, it's not uncommon for the cock or the hen to have a naked breastbone. The feathers not be on the breastbone. It's because they're lazy. They lay on the breast and the perch.
Mm-hmm.
Well, when Africa come to his farm, if he'd had a breed standard book that he could have showed them people, he'd have been good. But since he didn't, they confiscated and killed the best 2 A-seal hens he had because they didn't have feathers on the breastbone. They called it animal neglect and took his birds. They killed them.
Yeah, they have no idea what the bird's supposed to be, right? To them, all chickens look the same, right? And if they don't look like that, then then they don't know what. Yeah, because the shamos are the same way. They got bald spots on their wing butts, and they got they're missing feathers on their breast keel. So yeah, it's just what they are. Before we take off, Daniel did post that there's an APA show, Southern California, November 22nd. And Lake Paris Fairgrounds, Lake Paris Drive, Paris, California. So anybody in that neck of the woods looking to show their birds, there you go. That's a good way to get into it.
I've tried to contact the APA because that South Carolina, there is no APA shows in South Carolina at all.
Nope.
And I wish there were. I really wish there were. But it's I'm just because they're not here don't mean I ain't gonna keep pushing for them.
No, keep pushing. So, I mean, what are your fair shows? They're not recognized shows either. You don't have poultry at the shows.
We only have one fair in our whole state that I'm aware of that has poultry, and it's the state fair at the fairgrounds. And I'm not even sure what standard they're using because it doesn't show up on the APA website. And I have not participated in that because it's 2 hours and 45 minutes from me. And the birds have got to be there for like 11 days. And I'm not driving 5 hours a day to feed them. And I don't really trust those folks there to feed them and take care of them.
No, nor should you. So,
I mean, because they probably got some They probably got someone out there who probably don't even know anything about chickens and can push a wheelbarrow full of feed through to them. And I called and asked, if I brought birds and brought a specific feed for them to be fed, could I be guaranteed that my birds would get my feed every day? And they told me no.
Yeah, they can't unless you're the one there feeding them and watching them. That ain't gonna happen. So,
Nah.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that either.
but if you can ever push to get a Gamefowl category at the state fair,
They have Gamefowl there.
Uh-huh.
It's there. They have Gamefowl there. We have some local guys who show there, but they're close enough they can go feed the birds every day.
they wouldn't feed birds for you.
I don't trust people to feed I love my brother to death. When my son was in the hospital, he had to feed my birds, and it still stressed me out.
That's a good sign. All right. Anything else you want to add, Dwayne? We're at our hour.
No, I just want to encourage everybody. You do not have to be from an affiliated state to be part of the UGBA. You can come and join on our website, be an at-large member. We encourage that. You can attend and you can join the closest state to UGBA and just participate. Be a voice. And if you don't like the way things the UGBA is doing are going, join up, get involved.
So when I was at the meeting Friday, Saturday, I paid your lovely wife $40. Now that was for South Carolina and for UGBA, right? So
yeah, that's right.
A dual membership. Okay.
Yeah, $20 of it goes to the state, and $20 of it goes to the UGBA.
Okay.
And then if you like you go to, I know you and Kerry went to the North Carolina show last year.
Yep.
Since you've already covered your UGBA dues with your South Carolina membership, you can join North Carolina for only $20. So you can be a member of North Carolina for $20. Like right now, I'm a member of South Carolina, North Carolina, Missouri, and Tennessee. And Tennessee's not even an affiliated state, but I'm still a member of Tennessee because I know how important numbers are. And my membership just as not long ago lapsed in West Virginia, but I need to renew it there, and Pennsylvania as well. Because I'm on the East Coast, and I know how important numbers are. And once you pay that $40 one time, it's only $20 here, $20 there. I mean, that's nothing. It's nothing to become at $20 is cheap to become a statistic. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
That is true.
You need to connect me with the guy in Pennsylvania so I can sit down with him, see what I can do to help him out here, in our own state. Look, guys, I'm a member and I don't have birds, right? I travel too much. I'm away from home. I don't have a support staff here to take care of them. So, if I can cough off the $40 to support something, come on. I mean, like you said, $40 don't get you dinner for two, right?
No.
Not a good dinner for two. So, if we don't,
$40 barely gets you to Moscow Mules at the Myrtle Beach Convention Center.
Yeah.
Barely.
But if we don't rally enough numbers, so when our lobbyist goes to DC, right? If she can say, "Look, I've got the support of 10 or 15,000 members behind me," and have that conversation. Numbers matter to the politicians, right? So the more numbers that you can get behind your lobbyist or behind your group, the more clout you have. Just like you said, right? The animal rights people got 10 or 20,000 people, right? And they got plenty of time to go up there and picket and march and, and talk to the politicians. Gamefowl farmers are busy, right? They're raising their chickens. They're doing their thing. Most guys have another job. So they just can't,
Well, see, that's like the lobbyist. She was in Washington, and she was talking to senators and congressmen, and these animal rights organizations have been there and told her, "Oh, these poultry shows that the GBAs are having, these poultry shows that the APA's having, these poultry shows that the APG is having, these poultry shows are spreading avian influenza because you have a congregation of birds, and then they're leaving and spreading avian influenza." Well, our lobbyist just reached out to the presidents and the people, connecting people and directors for our affiliated states, and contact your state vet. We contacted our state vets. We're able to pop her right back information the same day. She was able to go back to those same senators that had been told this malarkey and hand them documentation from state vets that said, here's South Carolina, here's North Carolina, Pennsylvania, Kentucky, not Kentucky, but South Carolina, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, West Virginia. Here's these states that haven't had no cases of avian influenza in Gamefowl.
Yeah.
So it takes being able to go there with documentation, proven facts, and work to prove that these animal rights organizations are lying to these senators and congressmen. And then once you undermine that and show them that lie is a lie and undermine them of just a little bit, they lose a little trust in them. Just that little bit of trust is all it takes. You lose
that's right. That's all it takes. Right.
Yeah.
So
just a little bit.
But we still got to know. We got to have numbers behind it to push it.
That's exactly right.
So,
if our lobbyist goes and says, "Hey, look, we got an organization that encompasses 20 different states and 15,000 members," that's going to get their attention.
Yeah.
And that's why I think a lot of states need to put aside the past and get back united for the passion that everybody shares.
A big number is too, like when you take an affiliated state like South Carolina, North Carolina, and all these states, and you're able to go and check with the feed companies and say, how much Gamefowl feed are you selling in South Carolina? How much in North Carolina? How much in West Virginia? How much in Oklahoma? How much in Texas? How much Gamefowl are you selling? And you're able to compile all that together and say, listen, if you abolish Gamefowl, the country's losing this much income, because most of these Gamefowl people are not going to devote as much time and money to some barnyard specials, some Rhode Island Reds or something like that.
And that'll affect their tax dollars. Marco here says those people don't understand that Gamefowl breeders treat their birds better than family.
Mm-hmm. But Marco, you got to have the proof of that.
Yep.
And most states, they have the state vet to come out and do their NPIP certification testing and all that. So when you have the state vet comes out there and you have a poultry show, and that vet who knows nothing about Gamefowl has to handle and hold 150 birds a day. And all those birds are in excellent shape. All those birds are in excellent plumage. All those birds are worm free. You can tell they're worm free. Their heads will be bright red. Nice and clean bodies. No pasty butt. None of that. And you check. The vet gets to experience the health and overall well-being and care of our birds. When the vet gets to experience that, it changes. It shows them a new outlook on how well the Gamefowl people do take care of birds.
Right, but getting the birds out at shows where people can see them and meet the Gamefowl breeders, right? If you don't get out there and intermingle with the other chicken people a little bit and get in the public view on a positive way, it's just gonna. But anyway, we've beat that horse long enough. So
we started having our poultry shows at state campgrounds. And we have them at campgrounds, and we'll have 150 birds out there in drop-ins at a campground, and you got campers over there. It's got dogs, and they walking by, and they're like, what you doing over there? What's going on over here? And they come through, and they peruse through, and they see these birds, and they see how beautiful they are, and they see judges picking them up and judging them, and they see trophies being passed out, and ribbons being passed out, and you see little kids running around holding up the first place ribbon and grinning from ear to ear, and they just tickle to death to be part of it. If you don't influence for two people that were there camping that knows nothing about chickens, and they leave there with a positive outlook on that poultry show, that's two people you've influenced. And that two people might not seem like a lot, but I'd rather have two for me than I had two against me.
That's right.
Yeah.
All right. I think we did good.
And I really appreciate the opportunity you guys have given me over and over. And, the support I've gotten from both of y'all and the UGBA has gotten from both of y'all. And And it truly means a lot to the organization and most of all me.
Hey, buddy, we're on your team.
Yep, we're
That's
here
why
for
you're
you.
here. That's right. So,
Guys, we'll see y'all next week.
Have a good night.
We would like to take a moment to thank our friends over at ShowPro Farm Supply for their generous sponsorship and support. Whether you're raising heritage poultry, show poultry, gamefowl, or other species of livestock, ShowPro offers custom formulated feeds and supplements to help your animals reach their full genetic potential. And they don't stop at livestock. They also carry Alumacoop's movable poultry housing, plus a full line of Fertrell farm and garden products, so your whole homestead gets what it needs to thrive. Check out ShowPro Farm Supply, where nutrition meets know-how.